president last night talking about the latest news. Joining us right now to talk about it is the Federalist commentary writer, Emily Jashinsky. Emily, it's good to have you. So we get this word that the attorney for the whistleblower wanted to impeach and was hoping that this coup was underway as far back as 2017. What do you make of this?
I mean, this is a really big story, and it's one of those things the administration and the president's allies have been trying to show time and again that all of these people who the media is purporting to say are objective civil servants tend to have motivations that if you look back a couple of years or even you look back recently that are anti-Trump. And so when you find a story like this, the lawyer of this whistleblower who the media won't unmask was using the word coup, back in 2017, I mean, 2 years ago, this is really big, and I'm sure the people in the administration, the president's allies, see this as a major, major line of their own of a way to defend themselves.
And there was a coup anyway. There was an attempted coup with that cabal of people at the FBI and the CIA who tried to entrap many people in his campaign back in 2016, actually. So
right, which was laughed at by so much of the media.
I'm sorry?
I was just saying that was laughed at by so much of the media and dismissed as just fantasy. And it turned out, of course, that that's exactly what happened.
Exactly. So where do you think this goes? We're going to get these public hearings next week. Will the American people understand what's happening behind these closed doors and have a better sense of how much credibility this impeachment inquiry really has?
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting because I'm sensing actually a surprising amount of excitement about the public part of this process from Republicans, and probably more than Democrats had initially even expected to come. Mark Meadows yesterday jumped into that live shot on MSNBC and was just like rearing and ready to go in defense of their line of defense of the president. So I actually think Republicans are ready for this process to move into the public. I think they both Republicans and Democrats have had their turns kind of feeling out the witnesses and seeing in which directions they're going to go.
Yeah.
And so they've each had a lot of time to figure out the strategy and see where it's going ahead. So I think there's excitement on both sides. But I think I'm particularly surprised to see how eager Republicans are to bring this process into the public view.
Unfortunately, you know, what has been leaked, it's just been selective. I mean, Vice President Mike Pence continues to say there was no quid pro quo. He spoke with Fox Business's Trish Regan last night. Listen to this.
President Zelensky had an extraordinary victory in his campaign because he ran on an anti-corruption theme. And President Trump made it clear from early on that we wanted to support him in that effort. We wanted to see him make progress in that effort. And we wanted to see the European community come forward.
Did Joe Biden come up? Did Hunter Biden come up in the conversation?
No, he did not at all.
What about that, Emily? And we have more news on Hunter Biden and Joe Biden from John Solomon just this week.
Yeah. Joe and Hunter Biden, I mean, the more that's part of the conversation, the worse it is for Democrats, because the American people don't want to hear it. I mean, there have been liberal publications who've come out and said this is a problem for the Democrats. It's a problem for Joe Biden. And so the more that's a centerpiece of the conversation, the worse off it is for Democrats. And, you know, there may have been, Democrats may be able to show there was an effort to perhaps put together some sort of quid pro quo, but whether that actually materialized is going to be very, very difficult for them. There's an exchange with Congressman Ratcliffe and William Taylor, who Democrats seem to think is their star witness, where he says that Ukraine didn't know about the aid being held up, the stop on the aid, as of that July 25th phone call. Right. So this is going to be the quid pro quo in and of itself is going to be a difficult case for Democrats to make based on the evidence that they themselves have produced thus far.
Here's Steve Forbes.
Emily, in terms of that quid pro quo, that seems to be the only thing they have going for them. The rest is just confusion. And they're going to come up, they've tried to come up with selective leaks and the like to say, yes, there was a quid pro quo. Do you think they're going to win that public debate, that tweet war debate, Twitter kind of war debate, where quid pro quo is going to be the only thing they have, that they invited Ukraine to interfere in the U.S. election?
Yeah, I think when you have a term like quid pro quo and you're trying to make the case to the American public, you need something really, really obvious that you can point to convince them, and they really don't have that.
So it's not enough. It's not enough for an ambassador to say, "Oh, I thought this, I thought that." You got to have the president saying, "You ain't going to get the money unless you do this thing to destroy Joe Biden." They don't have that.
And they've moved the goalposts because they thought they had it with the transcript, right? And when it turned out the transcript was, as it was received by the public, that just didn't turn out to be the smoking gun that they wanted it to be. So, no, I don't think they have enough.
Well, I want to ask you about the wealth tax debate in a second. But first, the IG report, Emily. When are you expecting it, and what do you think we're going to find when, in fact, we do get this Michael Horowitz report on FISA abuse?
I don't think it's going to look good. I don't know exactly when to expect it, but I certainly don't think that it's going to look good for Democrats. I think it's going to be vindicating. In terms of the timeline, it's so tough to say, but definitely don't think this is going to be vindicating.
They keep pushing it out. All right, how about that wealth tax debate? Billionaire Microsoft co-founder Bill Gates sounding off on 2020 hopeful Elizabeth Warren's views on taxing the rich after J.P. Morgan CEO Jamie Dimon called out Warren for vilifying successful people. New York freshman Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez backing Warren's fight, tweeting this: "Y'all, the billionaires are asking for a safe space, you know, in addition to the entire U.S. economy and political lobbying industry." Emily, your reaction to this? It's funny to see all this reaction.
It's so funny. And Jamie Dimon and AOC have a little bit of a back and forth going for a few months now. They don't seem to like each other very much. But, you know, the sort of trifecta of billionaires that came out against Bill Gates, against Elizabeth Warren's wealth tax this week, and as she's really coming out with what the plan would entail, she's misrepresented it in a couple of cases, which I know is very shocking.
Yeah.
But it's hard to, it's almost counterproductive, right? Because it's like an ad for Elizabeth Warren when billionaires come out against you. So it's hard to see how this actually plays with the public. I'm going to guess that it'll show up in ads if she's the nominee.
Yeah, no, that's what Robert Wolf said a minute ago, that it ends up helping her when a billionaire pushes back. But Robert, there's a reason that the Democrats, most moderates, do not want Elizabeth Warren as the nominee.
No, that's accurate. But the whole key is who wins the primary.
Yeah.
And this plays absolutely to her base. 40% of the Democratic Party is in the populist left lane, 40% in the moderate lane. Everyone's fighting for the middle.
Yeah.
This helps Elizabeth Warren. It's a free ad. It's a free ad for her. When Leon Cooperman's crying on another station, that's about the best ad you could get for her.
Wow, you're right. If she is the nominee against Donald Trump, who wins?
I think she's the nominee. Oh, wow.
Well,
Go ahead, Emily. What do you think?
No, I was going to say, I mean, I actually think that Donald Trump will be reelected if she's the nominee. I just don't think a lot of the stuff works in the states that she needs it to win the Electoral College.
Yeah.
And you can see that in early polling matchups right now.
We got to jump. But
She's no Ronald Reagan when it comes to sunshine and optimism where this country can go.
You know, I would say a year's a lifetime, so I'm not going to predict today.
A year's a lifetime. All right, Emily, good to see you. Thanks so much. Emily Jashinsky joining us there.